Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 2nd, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. Take a look at the low pressure center over the state of California, leaving the Pacific Northwest in the southeasterly, moist and unstable flow aloft. We're going to be dealing with some thunderstorms for the next few days. We had a pretty good lightning show across some of the eastern Washington, Oregon last night. Even had some damaging winds west of the Cascades and a decaying thunderstorm, and I'm going to go over that in its own video later on today. So I hope you guys can join for that one. But right now we have some thunderstorm activity across some of the Oregon coast and southwest Oregon as well. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as always. There's another trough. Looks like it may be setting up shop here towards the Pacific Northwest as we go on in through later this week. This is looking at last night. If I back this up some, you can see that thunderstorm activity across eastern Oregon and Washington, and that moved up across the Cascades and then across even western Washington. It had no lightning at that point, but that's where the damaging winds occurred. More on that here later today in the video. This is looking at things currently. You can see some thunderstorm activity along the Oregon coast, southwest Oregon here, as you can continue to see this wraparound flow with the low pressure center across California. This is going to go on probably through at least Thursday, maybe even on in through Friday. SeaTac yesterday at 56 degrees, average high 63 here, a couple hundredths of an inch, but we're going to warm up today and tomorrow here. We'll take a look at those temperatures shortly. This is that gust I had at my house, 63 miles per hour, and I'll show you the meteorology behind this incredible gust here across some portions of western Washington a bit later today. This is rain and thunderstorms this week. National Weather Service Spokane. You guys probably saw some of those pictures of those lightning strikes here across eastern Oregon, Washington on social media, but you can see this can go on in through Friday afternoon and evening. Frequent lightning, 3/4 inch hail, wind gusts 40 miles per hour, maybe even more, some heavy rain. So yeah, nice graphic here from the National Weather Service Spokane. This is day one thunderstorm outlook. You can't really rule out one of these drifting a little bit further west than what it shows here. This would be day two tomorrow, so you can kind of see that, including the Cascades, again, maybe in western Oregon, getting close to western Washington there, and then again on day three. So we're going to be doing this. We're going to rinse and repeat over the next few days. This is looking at 500 millibars, somewhere up towards 18,000 feet. Here's BC, Washington, Oregon. So you can see that cooler air here kind of spinning around California. That's what continues to bring that warm, moist flow back around it into the Pacific Northwest. And then as we go out a little bit further, you can see the next trough starting to approach her as we go on in through later this week, as this makes its way towards Pacific Northwest and could keep us active here as we go on in towards the weekend and early next week. We'll take a look at that in some detail as we go day by day here. This is looking at yesterday afternoon's European run, and you can see the warm-up we're going to be going through today. This is 24-hour temperature difference by the time you get towards Tuesday afternoon. We could be up towards 70 degrees here across some of the Seattle metro, for example. This is looking at composite reflectivity, the NAM 3KM. And again, like I've been mentioning, these models are not going to be dealing with some of this precipitation well. So you could easily get some of these thunderstorms move a little bit further west. But you see as we go on into overnight tonight, another round potentially for Idaho, eastern Washington, maybe southern Oregon there. And as we go on into Wednesday, you'll see some of this activity pop up across the Oregon Cascades. Can't rule out some across the Washington Cascades as well. And then you get towards Wednesday night and Thursday morning, some of this thunderstorm activity could be moving off the Cascades into western Washington. We got to watch that closely, folks. You see that kind of taking shape there as we go on in towards the day Thursday, maybe even a couple rounds of it. And you can see this thunderstorm activity across eastern Oregon, the Cascades, Idaho, down through southwest Montana, Nevada down here. Just a very active system as we go on in through Thursday afternoon shown there. This is looking at the UW model. We've been watching this one the last few days, but you can see the destabilization of the atmosphere as we go. We're now looking into Wednesday afternoon. You can see that convective available potential energy kind of all over the place here, and you can't rule out something west of the Cascades like I've been mentioning, but a lot of the instability is going to be east of the Cascades, or Cascades east, I should say, and this would be going through Friday morning. Now we're looking at lightning flash density. This is her 3KM, the 12Z run. This goes out 48 hours, and you can kind of see it did pick up a little bit on that thunderstorm activity across some of the Oregon coast, but it underdid it here. I mean, there was numerous lightning strikes off the Oregon coast this morning that could still be ongoing as I'm doing this video. And then you see some of this activity moving through eastern Washington again here, and you can see it approaching the Cascades. And then as we go on in towards Wednesday, see maybe southwest BC getting on the action as well. This wouldn't be out of the question to have some of these form further south as well. And you go into Wednesday afternoon, and you kind of see this popping off on the Cascades. So some of that could drift off and go on into western Washington here as well. Go on in through early Thursday morning. You can see more activity firing up across the Cascades and even western Oregon here. This could include western Washington again. This is the European run here. So we're just going to speed through this again. You see that flow out of the east and the southeast are coming across the region. And by the time you get on in towards Wednesday afternoon, they'll get some of this activity across the region here. And then as we go into Thursday morning here, some of this activity was showing a little bit further north in previous European model runs here, but it does highlight portions of the Willamette Valley, Portland Metro here, and some of these could move off into western Washington as well. Now looking at Seattle, Tacoma, check out some of these temperatures, maybe into the low 70s today and tomorrow before we cool back down with the arrival of that next trough. This is Boise staying warm through probably at least Thursday before that trough starts to affect them out there as we go through later this week. Spokane, nice warm days through Thursday as well. Check it out. So here we go, looking at a little bit longer range view of things here. There goes our current low pressure system over California, and then the next trough that sets up across Pacific Northwest. Probably going to cool down much of the Pacific Northwest quite dramatically with that trough. Then some ridging starts to build here, and then maybe another trough taking another position here over California. That could bring another thunderstorm threat, but this is way out here in the 10-day range here. So just something to watch at this point. And then another strong ridge kind of showing up in fantasy land at this time, but just something to watch for now. So the California could be targeted here as we go through the extended as well. Now this is looking at the European total precipitation in inches, and I kind of want to show you. You can see the general motion of these storms. We've been talking about it. It's out of the southeast and out of the east, and kind of highlighting California there as we go through this week. But then the next trough's going to start to move towards Pacific Northwest, and look at some of these precipitation totals that start showing up here as we go on into early next week. We could get some rainy periods. Look at that by the end of this run here. Looking at Seattle, 2 inches here. Some of the coastal areas up over 2 to 4 inches, and even some of eastern Washington, Idaho Panhandle getting in on the action as well, Oregon Cascades. So yeah, active weather likely to continue here, folks, through the 10-day period. This is the 6 to 10 day probability temperature outlook. You can see this goes through May 11th here. It does include much of the Pacific Northwest. Precipitation probability outlook here. You can see the bullseye across western Washington, Oregon, including the Cascades. So yeah, I'm going to do a video on what happened. It kept me up a lot of the night last night. Some really crazy winds going on here. I think I have a good grasp on what happened locally across the area here. So stay tuned for that probably sometime this afternoon. I'll do my California video here next. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, go out there and try to get some lightning as these storms fire up here over the next few days. Some pretty good social media posts last night of some of those lightning strikes across eastern Washington. So yeah, keep up the good work out there, folks. Thanks for clicking like and subscribe, and we will do this again later this afternoon, and I will talk to you guys then.